Fury 5 is a legacy band.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. Like, we get to write music, we get to put in time, we practice every week, no matter what. We might not have a show for 6 months, doesn't matter. We still get in the room and practice every week. Because their outlook on it is like, if we don't, we're gonna get rusty. It's like a nice, especially for them, because they all have families, they all have work, like they're busy dudes, you know? So like, it's like their escape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, I got my 3 cats, I got my wife, I go to work 5 days a week, you know, and then I get to play drums, you know?
Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Mike Pollaro of the band Fury 5, also recently in Pure Conception. So doing some death metal shit too. We'll talk about that.
All right, yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing good.
What kind of coffee do you have? I want you to do yours
You want me to
first. 'Cause then
start?
yeah, you start, and then I'll go into mine. It's, you know.
So I kind of hate myself right now, I'll be honest. At my work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we have a barista that comes in and makes us like espresso drinks throughout the day.
What?
Yeah, so I work for like an animation studio.
Oh, okay. So I was going to ask you, because I know, I listened to a bunch of your podcasts, so I know you were roasting for a while, and then I heard recently that you gotten a new job.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the new job. I've been doing some stuff. I work for Sony. It's like one of their studios because they own a lot of different studios.
Right.
But one of the things that I do like is we have a barista, and it's the only time I get third wave coffee. That's not the stuff I bring into the studio for myself to drink.
Right.
Because it's a local roaster, and name's Florence. She's really sweet, really great. But I drank 2 cortados today, which I don't usually do. And then I drank a green tea in the afternoon because I've been doing green tea like for health stuff.
Okay.
And then I forgot that I had to have another cup of coffee this evening. So I don't like myself, but I do have a wonderful coffee like I told you I did. It's Daniel Sanchez from Subtext.
Okay.
Subtext is my favorite Toronto roaster.
Very cool.
And my friend blessed me up because he didn't like it. And I told him he was stupid.
There you go.
But it is a pink bourbon. It's washed, so I already know I'm going to like it just based off of those 2 things. And it's got raspberry, grape, tropical fruit notes.
So what's the difference between washed and unwashed? That I don't have that info on the coffee that I have.
Okay, you don't.
No.
So it's all about processes. So once they pick the bean, it's not a bean, it's a cherry, right? It's like a red cherry. And the coffee bean is the seed. And the process, so the washed and the natural and the other fancy words that we won't get into, that's just about how they get the seed out of the coffee.
Okay.
And they just call it processing. Essentially what they do is washed, they just let it soak in these little beds of water and kind of agitate it a bit until it like kind of falls off the cherry. It gets like wet enough and soaked to where they kind of run it through like a pulper and it just separates.
Okay.
The natural is like the classic Ethiopian standard way of you put it on these beds in the sun for a number of days and the cherry just basically dries off and peels off to where basically they just run it through the pulper again and it comes off.
That makes sense.
Then there's this other science ways that I don't know what they do where they like ferment it and they speak in tongues to it and, you know, get a young priest and an old priest.
Yeah.
And separate the cherries that way to make it taste like Skittles and Captain Crunch and shit like that.
Yeah, no, that's lame.
I don't mind it. There's certain times where I'm like, okay, this probably would have been a shit coffee, and then they did some magic on it. You know, they sprinkle some good stuff.
Right.
But a pink bourbon from the right farm, just washed, is going to be amazing, which this one is for sure.
Okay.
What do you have?
So, I have a coffee called Crater.
Okay.
It's from El Salvador. I went with my wife 2 years ago. She's from El Salvador, so we went to this volcano and they have like at the bottom of the volcano like a little cafe and coffee spot. So we picked up a few bags. I got one for my father. He's a big coffee guy, and we brought a couple home for ourselves. Like I said, we got it 2 years ago, so it's been sitting, but it still tastes pretty good. So the information I got from it, because it's all in Spanish, it's called the geisha. It's from the Apaneca Ilamatepec region, so that's where the volcano is. They call it the champagne of coffee.
Like Miller High Life.
Yeah, right. So it produces an exquisite balanced beverage with sweet chocolatey and floral notes, fruity, chocolatey, citrus, and intense, winey, and perfumed. That's pretty much all the information I got off of it from the Spanish that I can read.
There is a very interesting, it's a geisha, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
Okay.
That's the varietal. It's like the best of the best. Yeah, and they only grow in certain places naturally, and they essentially don't want to exist. So Panama has like the best ones, but then they've kind of spread out throughout Central America like that. Like I know some guys that grow it in Guatemala.
Okay, yeah, so that's like right next to El Salvador. So, yeah, that's, I don't know. It's actually, I can taste a little bit of the chocolate, like the chocolate in it, but it's pretty good. I mean, when we first got it, I really enjoyed it, but I don't know. I'm not like huge on coffee, but I do drink it pretty often. So,
How do you brew it?
This I actually did in a French press because right now I don't have a coffee machine. We have one that works, but I'd rather not do a drip like that. My wife worked at Starbucks for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 years when we first met. So she's pretty good with like a bunch of different like brewing techniques, I guess, Starbucks does it pretty, normal, like regular, but now she wants to get like one of those Breville, like $350 Breville's, so she could do like espressos and this and that, which I'm fine with. Like, I'd rather have that because right now I'm just drinking fucking Monster energy drinks in the morning, and I want to stop. Like, I gotta make a big turnaround on health, and getting rid of the energy drinks is definitely something I want to do. And it's funny, like listening to your podcast, like over the last few days, I'm like, I should really just get up an extra 20 minutes early and make coffee in the morning instead, but I get up super early for work, so it's kind of a pain in the ass.
I understand. I wait until I get to work to make coffee usually, just because I have a setup there. But if I had to, I would make it at home before. And
it's tough for me because I travel for work, so like I work in construction. I could just stop at like Wawa or whatever, you know what I mean, and just get coffee from there. But I also would like to stay away from that because I've pretty much cut all bad addictions out. Right now, my bad addiction is candy. So if I could move one of those, like move the candy addiction to coffee or something that's a little more positive, I'd rather do that. I'd rather exchange it for something else. You know what I mean? Because I just, I stopped smoking weed 6 years ago. I really rarely drink. I stopped nicotine 7 months ago. So it's like just trying to find something else for all of those vices. I'd rather have like a coffee vice. It's caffeine. I already drink caffeine, and like this, I can drink caffeine to the point where like I can go to bed. You know what I mean? So having this coffee, I'm not going to be like, oh fuck, now I'm up till 2:00 in the morning and I got to be up at 4:45 for work. So,
so coffee became ritualistic for me during the pandemic because I was going insane.
Right.
Which is why I kind of started the podcast. I got back into coffee because I had worked in coffee before and then got busy and didn't give a shit really. And I kind of like when I got back into coffee, stopped drinking as much and stuff.
Right.
And I had stopped smoking like about a year before that, maybe 2 years before. And it did kind of help a lot because I was having a hard time with like the nicotine. Nicotine's so hard to get rid of.
Dude, I did a cold turkey. And it was like, and I was vaping. I started on cigarettes, I started on cigarettes and then I switched over to the vape thinking it's better. Then I went to the doctor and she basically like broke it down like real simply. She's like, it's way worse for you, not really because of like, it's not like that it's comparable to cigarettes, just the addiction, the habit of it. She's like, you could do it wherever you want.
Exactly.
And you're just going to be screwed when you try to quit, if you try to quit. So, I mean, I just did a cold turkey, and for the first like 3 weeks, it sucked. And now I'm like, I mean, I think about it every day. Don't get me wrong. I think about it every day, and I'm sure I will for a while. But, you know, once that goes away, hopefully it'll be fine.
I had to kind of tell myself that like nicotine made me sick. Like I had to convince myself in my brain that like smoking, like the smell of cigarettes was gross and made me want to vomit and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So it was a lot of like kind of reversing like I don't know how to like a psychomechanic or something like that.
Yeah, I get what you mean. That's hard because I enjoy those smells. It's like I walk by somebody smoking a cigarette at work, and I'm like, and then I keep walking.
It's not as hard because I used to smoke American spirits, and like, you know, like American cigarettes are very different than Canadian cigarettes.
I believe it.
They don't put all the good stuff in it, and so
Right.
they smell like ass. So every time I smell them, I'm like, ugh, I don't want that.
Interesting.
But yeah, that was very difficult. I vaped for a year, and then my wife was like, "I'm not gonna marry you if you keep vaping." So I was like, "Well, I'd rather get married."
Yeah, that's pretty much, that's why I quit smoking weed. You know, I met my wife, and she was like, yo, I quit, and I really just, I don't want to be around somebody that's doing that all the time. And I was like, well, I like hanging out with you, so I guess I could put it away, you know? And then it helped me with like getting jobs and all that other stuff in the future, you know? So I never really thought about that. I was kind of just stagnant where I was at. And then like, I was like, oh, if I quit weed, like I could probably get a better job. Like I could do all these other things, you know? Like, and then that's what happened. So.
And my bassist, and he's probably gonna hear this, but my bassist in my band, I think he's Class A stoner.
Right.
I feel like, I don't know if he smokes a lot. I'll just leave it at that. And I'm like, dude, imagine, because he's a smart guy and he's handy and he's motivated. I was like, dude, if you quit, imagine what you would do. Like, imagine how much you would save money.
100%.
You would probably eat better, and you'd be more motivated to like, yeah, like hustle it. You know what I mean? So,
Yep. Yeah.
So let this be a wake up call, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, wake up, dude.
Wake the fuck up, dude. Become straight edge. And no, I'm just kidding. I still drink, so I can't even say that.
Yeah, straight edge is what it is.
It works for people who need it.
Listen, I have some friends that have like claimed edge the last few years, and they're doing great. And I know people that have been straight edge since I met them, you know, 20 years ago. And I love those people too, you know. And the cool thing is like most of the people, like that whole militant straight edge thing has kind of gone to the wayside. I'm sure like a lot of the young kids that are like straight edge, I'm sure they brought that back because they seem to be bringing back every trend that happened from like 2000 to 2008. So militant straight edge, I mean, I'm sure somebody's going to start printing "Kill Your Local Drug Dealer" sweatshirts again or something.
I've seen them.
I haven't seen one in so long.
I've seen the bootlegs.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm sure they'll start coming around again. But I love all that shit. So
those bands like those Connecticut and like Western Mass bands, like what was that band Nomad that broke up? Like X Nomad X.
Yeah.
And like X Clock Tower X and like all those like weird deathcore, metalcore bands that are like militant straight edge.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of that stuff though.
Me too. It's sick. It's one of my friends is in they're playing their last show, but they're in like not a hate edge band so much, but they're in like a militant straight edge band kind of called Excess. And all their stuff is like Chained to the Pain. They all have it tattooed. It's like hilarious. I mean, they're cool. Like I love those guys.
Where are they from?
They're from here. They're from Montreal.
Okay. Because I know I've also learned that you transplanted from Georgia to Montreal. So,
which Foundation is the best straight edge hardcore band I think from the Southeast ever.
1000%. Yeah.
Probably best Atlanta band. I don't want to catch heat for that because I know some people might have words. I also love Criminal Instinct, but it's kind of LA, Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
Great band though.
Both bands are great.
But Foundation, I saw them in like 2011, 2010.
It's funny because around that time, I got really like heavily back into hardcore in like 2012. And then just pretty much went on from there. But I was like, you know, I played drums in Flow Face Down. I'm the original drummer of Flow Face Down, so like when I was a kid, I was all over the place. I liked hardcore, I liked metalcore, I liked fucking emo and screamo shit. I liked deathcore and death metal. So like I was a mishmash of everything, you know? And then once I got roped into playing deathcore, then it evolved into like Born of Osiris and all that shit, and then like prog metal and gent and that whole thing. And then after that, I started dating a girl who was like really into hardcore, so I started going back to hardcore shows, and then I'm here. So
Forever trapped.
I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of heavy music it is. It seems like I'm just, you know, I'll never play in an indie rock band as much as I would love to.
You missed that trend.
100%. I mean, kind of. I probably could have, but I don't know, some of the newer indie rock stuff I don't care for that much, you know.
I miss
It depends.
The early Run for Cover days.
Who was all on that, though?
Self-Defense Family.
Okay.
End of the Year, which is the same band. Who else was on it? Turnover. When they were
like
from pop punk to that Peripheral Vision album, that was a really good fucking record.
Like, I'm not a big Turnover guy, you know? Like,
I like 2 records.
I'm very like I'm picky with everything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't love every hardcore band. I don't love every death metal band. I don't love every pop punk and emo band, you know? Like, I'm sure I like a lot of what everybody else likes, but there's also like little pockets of like random bands that people are like, you really like them that much? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it does, you know, but this is how it is.
My favorite band of all time is an emo band.
Mine's a 90s alternative rock band, so.
Who?
Chili Peppers.
No way.
It's my favorite band of all time.
Punk adjacent.
100%. Yeah,
I mean,
funk punk.
He was in Fear.
Yep.
Wasn't Anthony Kiedis in a punk band too?
Maybe.
I don't really like Anthony Kiedis, but like...
Dude, I listened to him on a couple of podcasts, and I was like, yo, this dude is spaced out.
He's cranked.
Yeah,
his book is fucked up.
I've heard.
We don't want to get into that.
No.
But I do like Chad Smith. I think he's a fucking great drummer.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's funny because I wouldn't put him in like my favorite drummers of all time, but he's just solid at what he does.
He plays for the band. He plays for the band.
That's it.
That's it.
You know?
I wish more drummers would understand that concept, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, when it's called for, do some cool shit and then play for the band, you know? I try to tell my guys that all the time. Like, they're like, oh, do some crazy stuff. I'm like, yo, relax. Like, you can't always do like crazy everything. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to always be at 100, you know? Like, I try to serve the band as much as I can. And a lot of the bands that I've joined pretty much since Flow Face Down, it's always learning stuff first, like learning other people's drumming and stuff. So then it's like, well, if this is how the drumming was on these records, I'll obviously add my one-trick pony shit and whatever it is that I know to do and I like to do, but I'm going to still serve the band. I don't want to make the band sound like something it's not.
Exactly.
You know, just because I play drums differently than the drummers that you had previous or whatever. So
it's it's interesting. Like, I've talked with people before on the podcast and just in person and stuff, and the kind of consensus is the 2 people in the band that usually shape, well, it's not even 2, it can be more than 2, but it's the vocals and the drums.
Yeah.
Because drums set vibe and vocals also set vibe, but what's the 2 most loud, like the 2 loudest things on any recording in the, what the fuck is that? I hope that goes away. The 2 loudest instruments or 2 loudest things on a record are vocals and drums, usually.
Yeah.
And in a mix live, it's usually vocals and drums.
Right. And it's funny because, like, even, like, playing in Fury 5, like, that's what Stickman always says. He's like, yo, it's like, if you're locked in, I'm locked in. And then everything else just follows suit. And the rest of the band agrees with that. Like, nobody, like, that's the thing that's cool about playing with them and playing with a bunch of dudes that are older. For, you know, egos are pushed aside and everybody knows what their role is, and you know, people know, like, I mean, Fury 5 is super drum driven for sure, and it's super vocal driven. I mean, just Stickman's vocals is just what really has always shaped the band, you know, and his presence. But yeah, practice, like, writing new stuff. He's like, you lock in with me and we're good. He was like, I don't pay attention to anything else that's going on, you know? And I mean, that's just how it goes, it seems. I never really thought of it that way, you know, because I always think everybody serves their own purpose, you know, but I get what you mean. It's definitely seems to ring true, especially more recently. I've learned that, you know, playing with these guys. So
Mm-hmm. It's a concept that I kind of learned like in my church experience as a kid. And it's like, you know, you could have like 2 guitarists, you could have strings and 3 keyboards, you can have a whole fuck ton of shit on stage. And if you're just trying to play, like, swing for the fences on everything, it doesn't leave room for the other parts to shine. You know what I mean?
right, yep, yep,
And so trying to convey that to people that maybe have only played hardcore or heavy music and stuff, bringing those kind of concepts to like writing music is very important, I find. So you kind of do have to reach outside of like your normal listening and take notes from things like that, I find.
yeah. Did you start by playing in church?
Yeah, I started playing in church when I was 9.
Oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. It's because it was like I was the only person in the church that knew how to play drums.
Well,
So it helped.
no, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Before we move on, I want to know about your Instagram handle. It's not that pretentious.
I definitely think it might be, but that's all right. Like I said, I think it's very tongue in cheek. You know, it kind of followed suit when I actually, it might have been either, I think it was right before I joined Fury of 5. I made my Instagram name that. I have another, like, my personal Instagram, but like I haven't used it because I've just, you know, this took off. So, you know, I mean, the other thing too is like the drumming thing on Instagram and YouTube. It's like, if you're not posting every day, it's really hard to do anything with it. And that was kind of like, I was trying to like brand myself at the time, and I was going to do YouTube. So you had Kyle on the other day, or recently. I've known Kyle a long time, and seeing him take off with the YouTube stuff, I was like, I should really just try and do it. And I had done a couple of reviews on some Wuhan cymbals.
Mm-hmm.
I got like they like started making that trash crash.
Like the koi line or whatever.
No, not the koi. I didn't even bother with the kois. They were still doing like their regular line, and they did like a trash crash, so it had like slits, end holes. And I reviewed a 22-inch crash, which sounded fucking killer. I love big cymbals all day. An 18-inch China, trash China, and they both sound amazing. The only thing is they won't last long, you know, which sucks. But I mean, they're affordable, super affordable. And if you just want like an effects crash or China just for shits and giggles, like, it's really affordable and it sounds fucking killer. I mean, I probably gained them a decent amount of sales because a lot of people did watch the videos. They're still up. I still get comments on them, and I still get a lot of views on those 2 videos. I just haven't done anything since because I don't have any money to like pursue extra gear. Like, all the gear I have is like nice cymbals that most people aren't going to be able to afford. You know, like, I work hard, and I'm very fortunate. I have an uncle who, like, he's just a collector of like nice gear, I guess. I don't know. He's a whole nother story. And so he's like given me like a bunch of like Meinl Byzant stuff, and like, you know, just like whatever. He gave me he bought me like a DW snare for my birthday. Like, I'm like, dude, relax, you know? Like, I really appreciate it, and it means the world. I mean, even the band, like, for like recording, they've helped out, you know, and purchased a couple of cymbals and stuff. But like, before that, I did work hard to get the gear that I have. You know what I mean? I really love drums, and I have my whole entire life. I've been playing since I was born. Basically, I was born with sticks in my hand, you know? And yeah, it's hard for me to like do extra. You know, I thought about just like, because I have a Sweetwater card, I thought about just like buying a couple of symbols and then doing the review and then returning them. I just don't know how they feel about that. You
What
know how like that works. But
Kyle would know how to. I mean, because Sweetwater's doing it even with like not a crazy amount of like people that have crazy followers like that. Like if you're just putting out good content, usually they're down to send. Like if you say like, I'm trying to do like this budget of stuff.
yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do is like low to medium budget, you know? So like I'll do like all the like HCS and the, you know, the S series Zildjians,
The
whatever.
S darks are fire.
I'm not a Zildjian guy. I was a Sabian guy for a long time. Like I said, I play Meinl exclusively. I'm probably will never get an endorsement, which is fine. But hey, Meinl, if you want to do it, I mean,
Yep.
I'm here. But you know, I like the way they sound. You know, they have so many different options, and I mean, they all do. I mean, the best China symbol out there is a 17-inch Sabian Holy China.
You like that one?
It's the best one. I mean, yeah, you have the 18-inch Oriental Zildjian China. That's
I prefer
fine
that
too.
one.
Yeah, but like
the heavy hammer too.
Yeah, I never really played that one. I think
love
my
that
boy, do you know Taekwon from Sworn Enemy?
No, but I know Sworn Enemy, but I don't know.
I'll send you him later.
Okay.
He's insane. He also played in like Merciless Concept. I don't know if you know, they were like a death metal beatdown band. Who else does he play? Plays Without Remorse. He's in Without Remorse now too. But he's insane. But he plays Sabian, so that might be the China that he has.
I play Sabian.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of ride do you play?
So I actually got a 22-inch metal ride. It's the AAX metal ride.
Okay, yeah.
But I got it because I asked Chris from Harm's Way, like during COVID, I was like, yo, what did you use for Posthuman? And he was like, oh, I used this ride. And then I found one on like Long and McQuaid, which is our Guitar Center essentially.
Yeah.
They have like a Gear Hunters page where it's like used from every location, kind of like the used gear. And I found one in like Ontario for $120.
That's not bad at all.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll try it out.
It's funny you say that. So that's another way that my uncle has been acquiring these cymbals. He'll go on Guitar Center and sometimes they fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't say that Guitar Center, but sometimes they price the cymbals wrong and he'll buy like a Byzance 20-inch, you know, whatever crash and get it for like $180. You know what I mean? Like that's insane. I can understand like $250 or $300 if it's a shitty condition, but like $180, $200, he's like, he finds gold, but he also just sits at home all day and is just able to just look, you know? So yeah, I mean, that's like the best way to buy gear too, is just used. When I was playing Sabian, I was playing the Omni Ride 21.
I love the Omni Ride.
It had a good enough bell and you could crash it, you know, and I was playing a pretty minimal setup at the time. I was playing in a band called Hounds. We were like a 3-piece, like black and hardcore band. And I was doing a lot of blast beats and stuff. So like, but then we were playing heavy and it wasn't necessary for me to have like 5 cymbals. So I had one crash. I had the ride that I could crash on. I had a China. I might not have even had a China. I mean, at that time too, I was still like smoking a lot of weed and stuff. So like I was just changing things around, doing whatever I felt like, you know. I would play 1 up, 2 down. I would play just a floor tom. I would play 1 rack, 1 floor, you know. So, but yeah, Sabian, if I wasn't a Meinl guy, I would definitely go back to Sabian first, you know.
My only problem with Sabian, like I love the price point, but I find you do have to go pretty high up to get something that's like more musical.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I love the HHX stuff, but it's a little too far out of my range sometimes. And then like, what's the the Evolution.
Well, don't they have like the AAX Evolutions and HHX Evolutions?
I haven't seen any AAX Evolutions. I've only seen HHX in stores, and I like the Complex series too, like the HHX Complex. But I've had friends go through a set of those in like 3 dates.
Yeah.
So they're too thin.
Yeah. I mean, dude, some of the cymbals that I have, the Meinls are, you know, I'm like, well, I don't know what to do about these. It's like, and I don't want to keep playing the Classics Customs. Like, they're okay. I mean, for what I'm doing, it's fine, you know, but like at home, I don't want to have them for too long. So anyway, that's how I got my Instagram name.
Sick.
I fucking totally went off on that. But
also, you have a lot of videos that are death metal. That's just why it's funny to me.
I mean, it's also been a very recent thing. If you go like way back, I was doing like covers of like hip hop stuff.
Mhm.
I did a Big L cover, did 100 Suicide by Gravediggers, but I made it like kind of heavy. Because I like all that shit too. I like hip hop, and I recorded everything. I play a little bit of everything. I play guitar and bass and stuff too. So like, it was during COVID. I wasn't playing with anybody or anything. So I was just like, I had a shed in my backyard before I got the house that I'm in now, and I just put up moving blankets. There was electricity running in it, and I would just set up in there. And like in the winters, it kind of sucked, but I would just throw on a hoodie and like a jacket, and I would just play until I got sweaty, take it off, fucking keep going. And then in the summers, it was super fucking hot, and it just was but I had a place to play every day, you know? But yeah, dude, like if you go back, I was doing my first video I posted, I think, was Never Ending Game. I covered Never Ending Game. So, you know, like I said, I like a little bit of everything. But like lately too, like I just started that Impure Conception stuff. So like that kind of happened on accident. I don't know. Do you know that guy's channel, Jimmy from the Block?
Why does that sound so familiar?
He reviews a lot of like brutal death metal. Like
Yes.
he strictly talks about brutal death metal. So that's his band.
Okay.
He's the singer of Impure. I came across him. I don't remember what video it was. I was just watching some stuff because I had just recently gotten back into it. I was trying to start a band playing guitar, doing like death metal slam shit. And I just went through a rabbit hole of all that, you know. And I found his channel. So then I reached out to him, and he was just kind of like, oh, the drummer of Fury 5's hitting me up. Like, that's crazy. So I was just talking with him, and I was like, yo, if you ever need drums, like, let me know. And now here I am with that. So I don't know. I got another project. I got 2 more projects. I've been doing a bunch of artwork. So I got all kinds of stuff going on, dude. I'm just staying busy.
It's a drummer curse.
Yeah, you're telling me. And
Dude.
then, like I said, ultimately, I want to play guitar.
Say
It's like I'm trying to do other stuff. I would like to do vocals in a band. I would like to do all kinds of stuff, but you know. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you playing with anybody when you were living in Georgia?
So I played in like a balance and composure sounding band for a bit,
Okay.
but we only played regionally. And I played bass before that. Like before I went to college, I was in a band for about a year playing bass in a Norma Jean ripoff band called
That's cool.
Me and the Trinity. Yeah.
Never heard of that.
It was Christian-esque. Yeah.
Yeah. I like some of that Christian shit too. So it's funny, like Advent. I know you were saying, dude, hands down. I don't know. I've told Joe like a bunch of times, like, I don't know what your band did to my brain, but like dude, I'm telling you, like I was going through a bunch of shit in like 2016 whenever they released Pain and Suffering, and that album just got me through it. Like when I met him, I'm pretty sure I like got teary-eyed and like hugged him and told him that, you know, and he didn't know what to do with himself.
Just the power of Christ.
It's crazy. I'm not like, no, listen, I have, you know, my spiritual journey of my own and whatever, you know. I don't necessarily say I, you know, brought up Catholic and whatever, but, you know, I definitely feel like I just connected with whatever it was that he was singing about. And I wasn't going through anything like what he was singing about, you know, because I'm pretty sure that was about his father and stuff. But yeah, and then they released that second album, the same fucking thing. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like this, I don't know why this album is just, it's so powerful, dude. All their stuff. And every time, dude, when I saw them, I don't think I've moshed harder in my entire fucking life. Like literally tears in my eyes, just swinging at nothing for no reason, you know? But
it's crazy. Like even growing up, when I got into hardcore, I was like 16, 17. But when I started getting older, some of the younger guys were getting in and like did their research and stuff. And it was so funny because a lot of my friends in the scene were like Christian. Like we all went to church together, kind of. We're in like the youth group scene. And then the younger kids, like they were from like military families from the base an hour away.
Right.
And just moved into the city. And so they were like not church, nothing at all. So they had a completely different scope of music than we did for a lot of times. And then So whenever like they were like moshing to Advent, and I was like, "Do you know what these songs are about? Like,
Right.
this is crazy." So, but everybody, even I think everyone from the South agrees that Advent's probably the best like hardcore band from the Carolinas ever.
Well, we'll get to that later.
Do you have Carolina lore? You have Carolina
No,
lore?
no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. It's for later on in your podcast.
Okay.
I think I have my my thoughts on North Carolina. So
North Kakalaki.
yeah, buddy. But yeah, I don't know. They fucking they rule. The reason why I was asking though about the Georgia thing is because you moved up there in what 2019 or 18?
I moved to Montreal in 2018.
Oh, maybe you were already up there then. Because when I was playing in Descent, I don't know if you've heard of them. So we went down to Georgia and we played a fest with like Acacia Strain, Kublai Khan before they were like anything of what they are now. Chamber. There was a bunch of bands. I don't remember what the festival was, but I was just curious as if you were there for that. It was in the summer.
Was it in Savannah?
Maybe.
Uh,
It was in like I'm pretty sure it was just like a big brick building. All the merch was outside, and like it was just a brick fucking just a brick shed or something. It was a weird venue, but it was sick.
I have no idea. I definitely wasn't at that show
Yeah, I don't know.
because I lived in Charleston for like 10 months before I moved to Montreal, and I didn't go to I didn't go to a single show when I was living there. That was a bad time.
Fair enough.
It was kind of depressing.
I gotcha.
But yeah, I was trying to think of the segue and I just got completely stuck.
That's all right.
What was the first band you heard that had like that struck you to be like, I want to play drums, I want to play this kind of music? Who was the drummer or who was the band?
So I have to say my father got me to play drums. He's a drummer. So I just like I said earlier, I was born with drumsticks in my hand, basically, you know. And then the reason why I love the Chili Peppers so much is because when I was 2 years old, I was banging on, you know, what's that called? An ottoman and like these little blue like little tykes chairs and like, you know, playing to that Four Non Blondes. Like there's video, you know, I have like the cassette, like the videotapes of me when I was a kid playing. And then when I was 3, they bought me my first drum kit and it was like a little CB percussion kit. And my mom was like, she would be home because she was taking my sister was born when I was 3. So then she was home for a while and I wasn't in school yet or anything. She was like, you would just play drums all day. That's all you do. She's like, you would go from your cars, because I loved like Hot Wheels cars. She was like, you go from your Matchbox cars to the drums, to the Legos, to the cars, to the drums. And that's all you would do all day, you know? And it just went from there. So that's pretty much where I got my drumming from.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would say though, like, I probably didn't get like good until I was about 8. You know, I was playing the same type of shit. And then like my dad, like they like sold my drums. I don't know what happened. I would assume that maybe they needed a couple of bucks or something. And then he always had drums, so I would just bang around on his. But then they bought me like a Mapex drum kit, and it was like a 16-inch, 8, 10, and 12. You know, so it was like a little ass kit, but it was bigger and it was better than the CB kit. So I think that it was kind of like, hey, like we gotta get rid of your little drums, but there's going to be something better for you in the future. And then that's what I wound up with for a little while, you know. That really was where I like took off, you know.
I didn't have a CB, but I had an Adams. It was made by Gretsch.
Okay.
But the Gretsch factory is like an hour from where I'm from.
Really?
Yeah, we had a factory store like right outside the city.
Damn.
As well. So I bought that's where they got my first drum kit. My first guitar was from there. And my second drum set, like your Mapex one, unfortunately, my first one was like a Costco, not even Costco, Sam's Club kit.
Listen, man, like it could be worse. You know, you could have just never had, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know.
there's those guys in like third world countries that are making drum kits out of what the fuck ever. And they
like car parts.
crush it, dude. They crush.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I mean, we didn't have to do that. And I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to sound like, you know, first world problems or whatever, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, at the same time, it's like, it's just, it's sick that, you know, your parents were gracious enough to let you play too, you know, like there's a lot of parents that are like, I'll get you a guitar or something else. Like, I don't want you playing drums, you know? So.
And band practice was always at my house.
Yep. That's always how it goes. I'm pretty sure like 9 times out of 10, it's like, you're not going to be able to schlep your drums to somebody else's house. So, I mean, that's how it was with me, you know? And like I said, I mean, cause I was pretty decent by the time I was like 11, 12. So I had friends when I was in middle school. My first bands were started in 6th grade, you know? So like, that's what we were playing. Like, the cool thing is like always originals. I never started like with cover songs. My friends never really did cover songs. Like, we would learn like a Jimmy Eat World song or a Weezer song just for fun, but we pretty much just would try to write our own shit, you know, instead of like learning Korn or Green Day or whatever. I don't know. I had other friends that were playing guitar and bass that were like good enough to, I mean, for 12 years old, good enough to write a fucking riff, even if it was just fucking dan-it, 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 dan-it over and over again. You know, and my parents were also happy. Like, my dad was a stay-at-home dad, so he was the only one that heard the noise, and he was like, I'd rather you be doing this than going out and getting in trouble or, you know, doing drugs or whatever. You know what I mean? Because that's just how some kids are, you know? So we just had band practice at the house and fucking just rip songs forever.
I wish I had early bandmates that could write music, you know?
It wasn't like that?
No, you just got to roll with what you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You have like the people at school that are like, I have a guitar and I have a bass and I kind of know how to play 3 chords. But they can read tabs, so we're just like learning tabs.
And like, that's the thing. Like, my friends, they knew how to do that. How old are you?
32.
All right, so I'm only 3 years older than you. But yeah, it was like my friends were able to do that, but like, I don't know if it was myself that was instilling like, yo, let's just write our own stuff or what, but you know, we were just like, fuck learning Taking Back Sunday songs. Let's just write songs that sound like Taking Back Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I wish my friends would have learned Taking Back Sunday songs and not like What I
Led
Like
Zeppelin.
About You. No,
Right,
it was worse than
not
that.
even.
It was like not even all rock, pop rock from like the early 2000s.
Right.
Like in elementary school, I had a friend that wanted to start a band and he was like learning bass. I was like, well, at least we have the 2 hardest instruments to find for a band.
Covered, right.
Yeah. But he wanted to learn like good Charlotte stuff. And then he ended up moving like after 5th grade and then became a drummer in a metalcore band. Like, we found each other on Facebook. I was like, so we're both playing drums in metalcore bands. And he's like, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where did he wind up moving to?
Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I hope he's still there. Sean Hennessy. That was his name.
We're going to look you up.
Yeah, dude. I'm going to find you on Instagram. But yeah, I mean, I wish I had people that were like, yo, let's do Taking Back Sunday songs. Because that's what I was listening to when I was like 12.
Right.
It was like Under Oath and Taking Back Sunday.
Exactly. You know, and like the first like kind of heavy stuff we were doing, there was a band we were called Hold Your Breath. I'll send it to you later. My friend posted it. He has like a band practice of ours. It's almost like post-hardcore, like screamo. And we were in 8th grade, 7th grade, going on to 8th grade. And we were just a bunch of like sort of punk, sort of hardcore, sort of emo kids just doing whatever. Like, the singer's favorite band was Coheed and Cambria. But he also liked, you know, some heavier stuff. And then like, I was just like, Poison the Well was my shit. So it was just like, I wanted to do that. Nobody wanted to do that. And then, or could do it. I don't know. And then like,
give me a panic chord. What is that?
Well, everybody, like I said, I mean, and the other thing too is like everybody else, I was the only one in my band that like was the oldest sibling, but everybody else seemed to have like older brothers or was friends with somebody's older brother, and they were turning you on to stuff. So like that's how I got into Poison the Well and shit. Shout out Rob Allaire, his brother fucking, they gave me, I still have it. It's Poison the Well PTW mix. It had pretty much all four Poison the Well albums. It had an E-Town song on it, Dillinger's 43% Burnt, and maybe a Between the Buried and Me song. Yeah, I think more of my
Off of Color? Like
No.
Colors or Alaska?
Earlier than that. Yeah, I got that CD in 2004. So it was like once You Before You came out and everything before that. And then Fire for a Dry Mouth. That was the first Between the Buried and Me song I ever heard. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but that's what I want. You know?
They still had like a tinge of the Prayer for Cleansing stuff in there.
Oh, on the first two albums,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Then again, that's why I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about North Carolina later. So, you know.
Yeah, I was always jealous of my friends with older siblings in a way. I love being the oldest because I was an asshole, but I had friends that did have older siblings that like were kind of influencing the music a bit, but it wasn't enough to catch me. So basically, I just had some older friends that were like, I found this band at my school, and it was like Taking Back Sunday, or like Saves the Day, or Under Oath, or Magine.
So when I first moved to the town that I grew up in Bricktown, New Jersey. So like Bricktown is one of the like hubs for like shore style. So like all those shorts, Blind Justice, and then everything like before that, Full Speed Ahead, like Not So Fast, can't even think off the top of my head. So many bands from that era, like from like the early 2000s. So my neighbor, when I first moved to Brick, I was 10. My neighbor was 13 or 12. He was a drummer. Lucked out. My fucking next door neighbor was a drummer, and he like early on got me into like Rage Against the Machine. Then like we would play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So like he was like, yo, what's Primus? Like Primus rules. So then my dad was like, yo, I have a Primus tape. So he gave him the Primus tape. He dubbed it. So now he had the Primus tape. Then I had it, you know, and then like my first CDs were DMX, Limp Bizkit, and Korn. The DMX was like, I think it was just because like some of the other kids were like, yeah, rap, hip hop, blah, blah, blah. And then it wasn't my thing, you know? So then I just got into Korn and Limp Bizkit. But then, like I said, all these other outside influences really helped me to just not only do the new metal shit, you know? And that was at 10, 11 years old. My point is, after meeting him, my uncle, also the one with the cymbals and stuff, he got me into hardcore too. He was going to Madball shows in the early 90s, Biohazard, H2. So he showed me a lot of that stuff when I was a kid. And then my neighbor, he started playing shows. So it was like, hey, here's the flyer. My band's playing at so-and-so. There was a VFW hall like 10, 15 minutes from my house. And they would have shows every weekend. So I would show up, get a flyer for the next show, and then I would just go. My dad was like, it's $5 and you're 15 minutes from the house, sure, go ahead. And he would just let me go. I'd put my mohawk up. I'd fucking wear my FUBU shirt, my Fearless shirt. I had like a baggy Fearless shirt.
Yo, the Fearless shirts? Woo!
Bro, I had a ball chain necklace. I was punk as fuck, dude. And then like I started wearing my uncle's, he gave me like size 10 Doc Martens. And I'm like, dude, and like and at that time, like I'm 11, 12, 13 years old, like, and I'm watching these dudes mosh. So I'm like, I gotta learn how to mosh. So I was fucking just, you know, doing like silly, goofy fucking put my hands together, doing this shit in the mosh pit, like bringing my friends who like have no idea about anything. And they're like, what is going on? Some of them stuck around for the long haul. Some of them are like, nah, it's not my thing, you know, but like, it was just one show. Somebody was just like, hey, my whatever pop punk, whatever band they were playing, and we're playing this show. I still have my first CD I ever bought at my first show. This is a band called Dodgeball. And it still works.
Such a good name for a band.
Right? And the CD still works. And there's a banging ass Cure cover on it. So, yeah. That's my my upbringing with all of this shit too. So
beautiful.
I love it.
I think like New England and like the New York, like that part of the US, Like, I feel like that whole area was pretty blessed with the style of like how cities are, like how the neighborhoods and like boroughs and stuff kind of work. Where like in the South, things are pretty far apart.
Yeah, I never really knew like, or not that I didn't know, but I never thought about it. And like when I started getting to like go on weekends and touring and stuff, it's like, yo, like we got to drive 12 hours just to get to the first show. You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, the next show is in South Carolina and that's another 6.5 hour drive. And it's like, fuck, man, I'm so used to being like, oh man, I got to drive an hour and a half to like North Jersey to go to a show or South Jersey or whatever, you know? And it's like,
Philly's like 2 hours. Yeah.
yeah, like you said, I mean, you're blessed up here, like where everything is pretty close and you could find a good show pretty much in any direction every weekend, you know? And then down there, it's definitely a lot harder. But there's so much good stuff that comes out from the South too, you know? I mean, Tennessee, even like lately, like there's a few good bands coming from out there, and you know, obviously, Kentucky with like Knocked Loose and that whole scene, you know? Like, so it's cool to see that it still is growing even with those states that are like so spread out, you know? I mean, look at those flyover states with Flyover Fest.
Dude.
I mean, Oklahoma and all those states that are like a band finally does something to make other people want to do something else too, you know? And like, that's like such a nice thing to have. But yeah, dude, I mean, it's definitely like, it's such a blessing to be up here and try and get, you know, on every show or go to every show. Lately, it hasn't been that like that for me. You know, I'm busy as hell, but I mean, Philly's 45 minutes from my house where I live now, you know? So
I love Philly.
I hate Philly, but
I love it.
I shouldn't say it like that. You know what it is? It's sports teams, and I'm not a big sports guy. I'm a big hockey guy. So like, you know, I'm a Rangers fan. My family's all from like North Jersey and New York. So I grew up like a Rangers fan. So Philly is like the biggest they're bigger rivals than the Devils, in my opinion. You know, like I'd be like, it's like Rangers, Devils, and then like I like the Las Vegas Golden Knights too. Like, you know, just because they're a new team and they got cool jerseys and, you know. But yeah, like Philly, I just was always like, fuck Philly, their fans suck, blah, blah, blah. But like playing out there and the shows and stuff, they're great. It's better than New York, you know, like.
I just like being in Philly more than I like being in New York City.
It's easier to get around. It's a little bit cheaper.
People are a little bit, they're mean, but they're warm. It's weird. It's a weird vibe.
Yeah, it's weird.
I like it.
I don't know. I think the Delco like mid-Atlantic accent's really funny too.
Yeah, I love the O's.
Yeah. The singer from Impure, he's got like a really heavy accent like that.
Like watching It's Always Sunny where they're like, no.
God. Do you listen to comedy podcasts at all?
I do, yeah.
Do you like Are You Garbage?
I haven't listened to that.
Dude, listen to that podcast because they're two Philly trash dudes, and
they did a crossover with Bad Friends that I listened to.
Yeah. Dude, those two dudes
they're hilarious.
Hysterical, and their Philly accents are hysterical too. So check that podcast out for sure.
So how do you get involved with Fury? As you take the giant sip.
So that's my last sip. It's done.
Cleaned it out.
So in 2022, or like, no, not even, in 2021, shows just started coming back up, you know, Madball, and I think it was Madball and Murphy's Law, maybe. There was a few bands they did, Tompkins Square. Yeah. So I guess Stick went to that show. He did go to that show. And I think it just really sparked something in him wanting to get the band back together. Excuse me. The drummer, Chris, and him don't really get along. That's not my story to tell, but that seems to be what the thing is with that. But the rest of the band, I guess because everybody's life was able to accommodate it now, they all agreed to like want to do it. And they were like, if you could find a drummer, if Chris doesn't want to do it and I could find a drummer, it seemed like everybody was on board with that. So a friend of mine, Joe Stanley, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He runs Perseverance. It's like a workout clothing company. He just started up a few years ago. He has Nameless Prince out in like PA. He was singing in a band called Departed for a while. He used to book shows in Jersey as well. Anyway, he reached out to me and he was like, hey, hypothetically, if Fury of Five were to get back together, would you want to play drums? And I was like, hypothetically, yes. I think that would be really cool. So, you know, he was like, all right, let me like talk to Sick Man and see what he says. And then I reached out to him. I just added him on Facebook and reached out. I said, yo, like Joe Stanley hit me up. I know you guys are boys. Like, let me know if you want to have me try out. So we got together, I think, in early January. I learned like 4 songs. And we went in there, we played one song, and they were like, you're the guy. And I mean, it's crazy. Like, so Stickman did a rendition of Fury 5 in like 2013, 14, I think.
Mhm.
And he had like, I don't know if you know Kyle Bull's other band, Bushido Code. So, what's his name? I don't want to get his name wrong. He's the other guitarist from Bushido Code. He was playing guitar. I think this dude Kyle, I might be wrong though. I think he was playing guitar as well. I don't know who was on bass, and then this dude Soda was playing drums. And they did some Fury 5 stuff for like a year or two. And I think that he just wanted to try something new. And I think that if it didn't work out with me, he probably would have called Soda or tried out a couple other people. I just did my homework, dude. I tried to learn the songs as best as I can with like still adding my taste. And yeah, we, you know, they were very happy with it. I went back, we jammed a couple more times, and then we booked the show, our first show back for June of that year. And it was a sold out show, and it was really fucking amazing to share the stage with them, you know? So that's how that came about.
So, did you record on the Raining Blood cover?
Yes.
How fun was that?
It was fun. I mean, learning that song, I've always known, like, obviously the first half of it, you know, but like, I don't know, man. I just love playing double bass. I love playing fast. So they enjoy that I have that like ability, because Chris, like, his bread and butter was metal, you know, just like power fucking double bass, like just hard hitting. And, you know, like I said, I brought in my little flair here and there. It's kind of crazy because before that, like, it was like, yo, you got to play the songs verbatim, exactly how they're recorded, like this, that, and the other. And I guess just because I'm able to like keep the groove and stay in the pocket and do the things that that they want, I can like deviate here and there, work things out, and, you know, it doesn't throw anybody off. Everybody enjoys it. We all have a good time, you know, but it's very hard for me. Like I was saying earlier, like even as a kid, like learning other people's songs is the hardest thing for me. I don't know why. That's like my least favorite thing to do, but like learning the Fury 5 songs was a big challenge. Not that they're super, I mean, I shouldn't say they're not super hard, because those first 2 records, it's like progressive hardcore in a sense, you know? And those songs are very like intro, verse, chorus, break 2, then back to the chorus, verse, intro as the outro. It's like a lot of like kind of triangles, you know, and like peaks and valleys in those songs. But just the structures are like, it was actually pretty challenging, you know? But yeah, it's I don't know. It's been a lot of fun playing with them. We just finished up 9 songs. So we're going to be releasing 9 full length in 2026. And yeah, the Raining Blood cover though was a lot of fun. Sorry, I got way off on that. And the other song that's on that is with Phil from Irate, which is super cool.
Shit.
That we were able
That's
to
so
get.
cool.
Yeah. So like we got Phil on that, and then he likes to, you know, Sickman loves doing features, but I think that he really was looking to bring in some really cool features on other stuff that we were doing, just to like, you know, I think I might have even said like, yo, it would be cool to have like Irate or somebody on a song, and he was like, yo, let me think about that. And then like he reached out to Phil. Turns out, some fun lore, Phil like wrote a letter to them in like 1995, like just letting them know like how much he loved the band and this and that, because back then that's what it was. There was not even like email to the public, you know what I mean? Like there are only like certain servers set up for people and like businesses for emails. So like you had to write people letters or like call them on the phone. If you didn't have their phone number or know who they were, nobody's going to answer the phone either.
Mhm.
So he wrote them a letter just telling them that he like really loved Fury 5. He's like one of his favorite bands or whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of going off on what he says, but that's why we pretty much part of the reason why we had Phil
Mhm.
do the song with us, so that came out cool. We got to do it live with him a couple of times, so that was fun. And yeah, so now the next record we got coming out sometime in 2026.
Well, I didn't expect that. That's pretty fucking cool.
I think a lot of people aren't expecting that. There's some people that like they follow pretty religiously, that I think really, diehard fans, and there's people that just kind of see us on the outskirts, and they know when we're playing, and that's about the. Listen, at the end of the day, Fury 5 is a legacy band. It's cool. Like we get to write music, we get to put in time, we practice every week. No matter what, we might not have a show for 6 months. It doesn't matter. We still get in the room and practice every week, because their outlook on it is like, if we don't, we're gonna get rusty. Two, I don't want anybody to like not want to play, or not want to do the band. And it's like a nice, especially for them, because they all have families, they all have work, like they're busy dudes, so like it's like their escape. For me, I got my 3 cats, I got my wife, I go to work 5 days a week, and then I get to play drums. Luckily I have a space now at my house where I can set my drums up. Right now I don't have that space. I'm working on my house, but I have that, so I can play drums whenever. But they don't have that all the time. Like I said, they all take care of kids, they have sports, they have school, they have all these things. So that Sunday is like, it's church for them. It's two and a half hours to just jam the fuck out. And like I said, we wrote 9 songs. We got Evan from Biohazard on a song. We got Sal from Sworn Enemy on a song. So, it's gonna be a heavy hitting album. He's got a lot to say, and I think it's a really cool step up from where they left off. Because we did the EP, we did that little 2-song banger, but I think that this is a fun little. It's a little more metal. It's a little more. It's like I would say it's like a refined Fury of 5 from 1995. You know what I mean?
That's what I want to hear.
I love that.
That's what I want to hear.
Because I think that that's what people are gonna see from this album. There's still elements from like their last album that they put out in 98 or 2000, I guess technically that album came out. There's some like hip hop elements still, and like verses and choruses, but there's a lot more metal. There's a little more progression, and a lot of fucking cool riffs. I threw a little my fucking death metal shit in there. There's a little bit of everything. It's cool. It's like there's 2 steps, there's blast beats, there's breakdowns, there's kind of like beat down riffs. It's really cool.
Do love that people put the beat down label on Fury of 5, even though I find it like it is pretty OG beatdown, to be fair, in some senses.
I would agree. I think that also. Actually, finish your thought first.
It's just that, to me, it just sounds like New Jersey hardcore. Like, especially from that area, because it reminds me of like, it sounds like E-Town in a way, but very distinct. And it sounds like Crown of Thorns in a way, but very distinct. But they all have that metal with punk, hip hop. Like, it's the 3 of them like crafted into one. And I mean, Bayway is carrying the torch for that currently, in my opinion.
100%.
And I think that they do it very, very fucking well. And I love hearing that y'all are bringing that back on the new record, bringing that OG style.
Yeah, I think that, that's really just, like I said, I think it's, I don't think that it's not to come back and be like, we're the fucking best. It's a statement piece. It's a statement piece to say like, yo, Fury 5 is New Jersey hardcore. Like, listen, I've been playing with them for 4 years now. I've heard every fucking story. I've talked to people from then. I've talked to people from now. Like, everybody was New York hardcore, and then Fury 5 came around, and then it was New Jersey hardcore. I don't want to say I was 4 years old when Fury 5 started, so I can't say too much about it, but just from what I've talked to from a multitude of people, it's not just Stickman telling me, yeah, this is what it is. Like, it's everybody, you know what I mean? All those people that were around, if you talk to Ant Money will be like, yo, Fury 5 fucking put us on, everybody will know that. Like I said, it's their legacy band, and I think this album's just going to come out as a statement piece of just like, this is what the fuck we are, and it's never going to go away. To the point with Bayway, I like Joe. He's a good dude. I like the band. I think that for Bayway, it's 1/3 E-Town, 1/3 Fury of 5, 1/3 NJ Bloodline.
Yo, yeah, I forgot to throw NJ Bloodline. That's,
you know what I mean?
Jay like references NJ Bloodline as his like main influence.
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
That's what I think. That's the essence of what he's trying to do, and I think that's cool. I think
I love NJ Bloodline, so that's fine with me.
Yeah, of course. All those bands from back then are fucking. Like I said, I mean, it's just legacy. You
Bro,
can't.
Crown of Thorns just played like 2 sold out shows.
Where at?
Boston.
Really?
And I think that they're playing. Maybe it hasn't happened. I think they're playing in Brooklyn.
I know we just played with Scarhead. Scarhead. Yeah, I think we played with Scarhead in Brooklyn, or New York. I don't remember. I don't know, dude. It was like in the summer. Over the summer, we played with Scarhead as it was a surprise. They were like a surprise set. That was a cool show. I think that sold pretty well. But yeah, I mean, Dan Diablo, he's another fucking dude. He's a fucking legend. I went to a death metal show like a month ago with my bassist, and he showed up, and it's just like, it's funny. There's one of those dudes where it's like you don't even realize he's a real person, and then he shakes your hand, and I'm like, why is Danny Diablo shaking my, like, this is crazy, because it's another one of those things too. Like, talking to my uncle, he was going to all those shows in New York in the early 90s, late 80s. So, like, he saw DMS come up. So he would tell me, like, Doc Martin Stompers, bro, Doc Martin Stompers. Like, he didn't call him drugs, money, sex, or whatever. They go by a few different things, but he knows them as Doc Martin Stompers and, like, their graffiti shit, And, like, he was like, those dudes are, like, real motherfuckers,
But that's the AS, like, OG Madball days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, that's like what he was seeing, my uncle. And then, like, I was telling him, like, yeah, like, we went on a run with Freddie Madball, and I was like, yeah, I'm just like hanging with Freddie Madball. He's like, dude, that's so funny, like, because like I said, he was like, I was 12 years old, and he would like throw on a Madball CD in his Jeep and be like, yo, this is like the truth. And I'm like, yeah, this is the truth. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm 12 years old, just rocking out to Madball, though. Right? Like, all that shit. And then, like I said, to get to this level, one of my cousins too, he's a bit older. He's 50 or 51. And he was like, yeah, like, I was friends with all the NJ Bloodline guys and like E-Town and all that shit. He's like, I know all the people, like, but he'll never come around. He's a kind of a weird guy. But like, it's just like, then I told him, I was like, oh, guess who I'm playing drums for? And he was like, who? I was like, Fury of 5. He was like, what? He's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's just, like I said, these are all people and like, places and stuff that I never thought I'd be hanging around. And it's just like, I'm super grateful for it. And it's just like, it's always kind of like a pinch me thing, like, I really like Dan Diablo shaking my hand, or like I'm hanging out with Freddie Madball, like, or like took a picture with Dan from Biohazard, like, like, hung around them. His son's bands are fucking awesome too. His son's playing drums, and now they started going out and playing shows. And I think his band's called Versus. I don't know. It's like 3 different ways of spelling verse, but they're like cool, kind of like metalcore, hardcore type shit. They just I just saw them. They posted like a cover of Firestorm. And it was like, it's so cool to see like these 18, 19-year-old kids like going off, because there's like videos from when I was like that age. There was, I don't think it was during Gear Spent Cold set. It was somebody else's set, I think. And then they had this band, like, it was a joke called Man Up. And there's a video on YouTube, I could send you that later too, like, and they do the man up thing, and then all of a sudden they just play Firestorm, and it's in this big ass gymnasium, and you just see like 150 kids just going insane in this fucking gym, you know, in like 2005. So it's cool to see that in 2005 and then again in 2025.
Yeah, 20 years later.
And it's the same aged kids, you know, it's a bunch of 18 to 20-year-old kids just going nuts. They're all playing like 30, 40 minutes from my house next weekend. No, this weekend. So I'm going to try and like convince my wife to go, because she's not like, she like likes it but doesn't, you know?
Same.
So it's like, I always want to tell her like, hey, like, she's been really into like beatdown and like deathcore lately. So
That's
she's
cool.
like, yeah, Peeling Flesh and like Chain Gang and all this stuff. Like, she's a big fan of Body Snatcher. And recently when I did, do you know Flow Face Down? Or do you, okay, so I played drums for them originally, right? So we just did their reunion show. So I got to play 5 songs with them, and then the last drummer they had before they broke up played 5 songs. But Kyle Medina from Body Snatcher did vocals. So now him and I are cool or whatever. He invited us out to the show in Philly, so she got to meet him, and she was just like, this is so cool, like, you know, took a picture with him and stuff, and I was just like, this is the cool stuff that I get to do, like, outside of like playing in the band, like, you know what I mean? Like, she looks up to these people or like enjoys these people or whatever and like likes their music, and I'm like, yeah, like I know this guy or that guy, and she's just like, what? Here's another quick story. So we played This Is Hardcore in 2022, and it was Fury 5, then Madball, then Hatebreed. Crazy.
Best.
Crazy to do it like that, to play right before Madball and Hatebreed, 2 bands that I, you know, started out with, you know. And during Last Breath's my favorite Hatebreed song. It's just one of those nostalgic, like, first hurt song I heard, like, so I was watching them from like behind the barricade off to the side of the stage. I don't even know how to explain it, but I was basically like behind everybody. So I fucking, as soon as I heard, I jumped up on like a guitar case or PA case or something, stage dove off of the side of the stage, like not even from the stage, and just went crazy. And then my wife ran out because she didn't know where the fuck I went. She got stuck in the pit for Hatebreed, and I'm just jumping off the stage going crazy. I was drunk. I was like, because once we played, I was like, I'm fucking partying, dude. I'm going crazy. I can't believe I just did, like, we just played this fucking show, and now I'm watching Hatebreed. She didn't know who Hatebreed was. So now she's stuck out in the Hatebreed pit. She comes out. She's like, what the fuck? Why'd you do that? I was like, I couldn't contain myself. Like, it's my favorite Hatebreed song. 3 months later, she comes home from the gym and she shows me her phone. She goes, do you know this band? And it's Hatebreed. And I'm like, yeah, I just seen them 3 months ago. Like, what do you mean? She's like, I don't know. I really like this song. And I'm like, figures. Like,
that is my wife. I love my wife so much. I'll try to show her a band. She's like, don't show it to me. And then she'll find it on her own and be like, I love this band. I was like, I literally tried to show you that band 6 months ago.
Dude,
and you said, don't show it to me.
Story of my life.
Jesus Piece.
Yep.
I tried to show her Jesus Piece. She's like, I don't. We saw them live. She's like,
yep.
I was like, bro. Anyway, I'm not complaining.
No, yeah.
It's just funny.
I know. It's funny too, like both of our wives are Spanish. Maybe it's a Spanish thing. I don't know.
Maybe it's a Latino thing, yeah.
But yeah, so then I showed her that, and then we got to play with them again a year later in Albany, and we were able to be side stage for that. So she was just like, my God, like, I can't believe I'm standing here like watching Hatebreed from the side. I'm like,
was that at Empire?
Yeah. Yeah, we got to play
upstairs.
And then, like, I don't know, maybe a year later, we played downstairs. And then just this past summer, we played upstairs again for Straight Jacket's 30-year anniversary. So that was cool. But yeah, she was just like, this is crazy. And I'm like, yeah, like, not to like brag or whatever, but it's like, these are the cool things that we get to do playing and meeting people. And she's like, I kind of understand now, like, because she used to hate that I was like super social, talk to everybody. Like, all I would do is just like 100 people.
It's like a dog. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I can't not like shake hands with people and, you know, like be distant. Like, after
when you leave
15,
you leave a show, it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah,
Because my wife is like,
100%.
she wants to leave, and I'm spending 15 minutes saying bye to everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've learned the Irish goodbye kind of works, especially like being a little older now. People are like, yeah, I get it. You got work tomorrow or something. It's like, oh, fine. And then I'll message them and be like, hey man, it's good to see you.
I tried to do that.
But yeah, I mean, she's just, at first she was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like I played with Shattered Realm for I did 4 shows with them. So like we had just started dating then. So she was like driving all over the place with me for that. And she was like, this is so like, what are you doing? Like, you're not getting paid? I'm like, no, like, why would I get paid? What do you mean? Like,
I'm playing with Shattered Realm.
like, but at the time she doesn't know that, you know what I mean? She's just like, what the fuck is a Shattered Realm? And I'm like, the craziest band I ever witnessed when I was 16 that I was
she doesn't
scared
know, like,
of.
Joe. Like, Joe is the guy.
Yeah, well, it's funny because she met Joe, and Joe is such a kind,
so nice
guy to her, so she never forgot Joe. So now anytime we see Joe, he always is like, "Hey, baby girl, how you doing?" Blah blah blah.
So
you know, because that's just how he is. And so she likes Joe hardcore, and she likes Shattered Realm, and like she understands. But like I said, now like after playing for so long, doing the Fury of 5 thing, and like seeing it, she's like, okay, like I get it. I'm like, all right, cool. As long as you understand, sort of.
That's my wife is more into like metal, like death metal. So we have a death metal project together, and she's doing vocals, which is cool.
Huh.
But she's not super into hard. Like, she likes hardcore, but it's more like the culture she doesn't as much like, which I understand. I get it.
Yep.
It can be very self-indulgent or egotistical in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's just, you gotta know how to navigate it. She's just not the type of person, which is fine. But she loves metal because, like, every metal show is like, people just want to listen to metal and like be like, how are the riffs? Like, that's basically what, drink beers and judge riffs. That's all that you do. It's not like a fashion contest and stuff, but for me, it's just like, I just gel more with hardcore because I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
but I love metal too. I love metal.
Yeah.
I'll go drink 17 beers at a metal show. 100%.
Yeah. That's cool. You guys are starting a band.
The EP's out. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Send it to me, please.
You have to judge my drumming. I played everything on it.
I'll send you some stuff that I've done.
I want to hear it.
Well,
we played each other's bands. No, it's okay.
Nah, dude, listen, my favorite thing is to like, just share music and like I said, I mean, if I didn't have all the things that I have and I just was like a bum, I would have a band where I scream. I would have a band where I play bass. I'd have 2 bands where I play guitar. One band I play lead, one band I play rhythm, and then I'd play drums in 3 more bands, like, I would love to do vocals in like a ceremony-esque band where I could just run around and just yell in people's faces, I'm just a maniac like that. I'm pretty like laid back, like normally, but as soon as like music comes on, like I'm a mosher through and through. Like people ask me like, dude, you're 35 years old. I'm like, I can't not do it. Like we went to that Body Snatchers show. We had VIP, like we were hanging out in the back, and she was like, are you going to hang out here? And I was like, we'll see. And then he like gave us a shout out, and I was like, I got to go down there. And so I went down there and I was just doing my thing, and I came back and it was fun. It sucks, like big shows like that though, it sucks to mosh because the floor gets all fucked up. There's a lot of push pits and people that don't like the spin kick shit. Dude, I went to that
Body
death
Snatcher
metal.
likes the spin kick shit.
I mean, Body Snatcher themselves do, but like the fans don't, because it's a lot of, I don't know, it's such a mixture of people, I went to that death metal show, and like my boys, they were busting they were like, yo, you're Blue Beanie guy, like you're Blue Beanie guy at the death metal show. And I'm like, why? And they're like, because you just keep pacing around the pit and spin kicking, and everybody else is push pitting. And I'm like, what do you expect me to do? It's like Malignancy, Pyrexia, like, and
Pyrexia is a spin kick band. Yeah,
dude, Dripping's a spin kick band too. Like, and we just like started like getting cool with the Dripping guys. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking mosh for Dripping. Like, even if I wasn't cool with them, I'm gonna mosh for Dripping. You know what I mean? Like, I mosh. If it's a mosh part, it's a mosh part. I don't care if you're push pitting. I don't care if you don't like it. I'm doing it anyway. Sorry, dude. Like,
dude, clip that. That's a clip.
All right.
If it's a mosh riff, you got mosh.
I mean, listen, I got kicked out of Set Your Goals in 2007 for just literally just letting off a barrage of fucking fists on somebody for no reason. It was just, I don't know, just set your goals. Fucking got me feeling moshy.
Heavy.
And that was in like they were opening for Paramore. That was in like 2007. It's like
getting kicked out of the Paramore show.
Yeah, exactly. So stupid.
I got my shit wrecked at the Paramore show, bro. This guy was going nuts.
Yeah.
Imagine the
dumb,
other
skinny 17-year-old.
Oh, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I think this is the point that you've waited for about the Carolinas. I have a feeling that this is where we're going to get it.
Okay.
I've enjoyed having you on, truly. I wish we had like 2 more hours to talk, because I would just...
I'll come on again.
Yeah,
I'll talk for 3 hours. I don't care,
We'll do
dude.
a part 2.
It's funny, and I'll keep this short because I love Joe Hardcore, but his podcast with you is so funny because it was like over 2 hours, and I was like, I wonder if he'll let me go for 2 hours because I could talk like a motherfucker too.
I mean, I will.
Yeah.
I like to keep it more brief because it's like, I mean, hardcore. It's like, leave the people wanting more, play a 10-minute set. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
My attention span isn't always the longest, but I do like that one. I think I said 4 sentences in the entire podcast.
Sure.
Because he yaps. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I loved it.
Not at all. Like I said, I love Joe, and it's so funny. But yeah, I was listening to it, and I was just, and he was like, "Sorry, I keep going off.
He's so funny, man.
Yeah, he's a riot.
He'll get on one.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is the time. What is your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
So I don't know too much about their beans. I know that we went to a coffee shop. I'm pretty sure one of the times we went to North Carolina, but I kind of have to say sorry, New Jersey and New York and Philly, because this is my home, but like, there's a lot of good stuff from North Carolina. Like I said, I mean, you got Advent, Between the Buried and Me. I mean, they're not a breakdown band now as much, nearly, but like, they kind of still are. Like, they keep it pretty fucking heavy. Even I listen to the new stuff. I'm not a fan, but they turned a honky tonk riff into a breakdown. So
that was cool.
I mean, if you can do that, you're still a breakdown band. Invoke is from down there. Good. They're insane. I love that band. I think Summon New World Man is from North Carolina, because I know it's the drummer, definitely, from Invoke.
Ends of Sanity.
We did a 3-day run with them and Madball, and that was cool. They're fucking super cool dudes.
Eyes Wide Shut, which is Cam. I'm trying to think of who else I know from down there.
Beloved, which is
Beloved.
Prayer for Cleansing, Glass Casket.
I forgot about them.
There's another one. What are they called? It's not Carry On. That's it's a name like that, and it's Tom Giles from Between the Buried and Me's first band. It was like kind of like Prayer for Cleansing, his first band, and Glass Casket all kind of wound up together after, because like their first drummer was like the dude from Bury Your Dead, I'm pretty sure. And then, obviously, Prayer for Cleansing, and then Tommy Giles. And he was also in Prayer for Cleansing for a little while. But there's another band, I can't think of the name. And then I don't think Azazel, something like that. I don't think they're from North Carolina, but you can definitely hear influence from them on North Carolina. So shout out to that band.
There's also Dwell. Dwell's more of a news there. That's pre-Ends of Sanity.
Shit, that's true.
It was Ian. I think Ian was on drums. And then his brother was on vocals.
Yeah, so Dwell, we played with a few times. I played with them actually when I was in Hounds, because they would come up here, and we played with them at this place, the Meat Locker. Excuse me. And that's how I met those dudes, and Dwell was sick. They were like, kind of like, I don't want to say, what's Fleshwater's other band? Like Vane.
Vane?
Yeah, it was like, they were like in that kind
very
of
chaotic, but like metalcore.
Yeah.
You haven't heard his new band? Have you heard Chaos Must Bow?
Yeah, I've heard them too. Yeah. But yeah, like there's a band that Vatican. Yeah, they're from.
I know them.
Yeah, no, I've heard you talk about them.
Yeah,
they're not from North Carolina though. Right?
They're from Savannah.
Or are they? Yeah, right. They're from. So that's another band that I met through Descent. So like Vatican's sick, Dwell's sick, and then I don't think Shame Spiral.
They were, I thought. Are they not?
From North Carolina?
Or are they from Florida? I can't remember where they're from.
No, I think, what's his name? Bailey originally was maybe from North Carolina. And then he moved to like Virginia, maybe. But I think they were like from Virginia, North Carolina area.
Because it wasn't Gage. I think Gage from Exide was a member of Shame Spiral for a bit.
He was also, yes.
And he's like Maryland.
Yes. But I don't think he originally was from Maryland.
No.
Yeah.
I cannot remember where he's from. He's in LA now, but I can't remember where he is.
Is he all the way out there?
He moved, yeah, like 6 months ago.
And then who's he playing with?
I have no idea. He's working in coffee.
Right. But I know he was playing with somebody from like up in this area, I think.
Exide.
So there's somebody else too, though. And then I think he was also in that band Trauma Queen.
Oh, I don't know about
originally. And then the dude, that's the dude from Orthodox, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
He's insane too. He was in Trauma Queen first, and then he kind of like went around that whole, all those bands.
The metalcore guys?
Metalcore. I mean, it's funny. I remember talking to Adam, and I was like, yo, you guys are going to play This Is Hardcore soon. He's like, we're never going to play This Is Hardcore Orthodox. And I was like, I guarantee you, like, that's got to be like a stepping stone for you guys. And then sure as shit in 2023, I think, they played, and I was like, I told them they were going to do that.
Should have put money on it.
No, I don't do that. I don't bet.
Adam's a nice guy.
I love him. He's a great dude. Yeah, we were playing because I knew him through Purgatory. He played drums. He played drums with them for a little while. So, but anyway, dude, I'll let you sign off. My Beans and Breakdown city is North Carolina, and I think that's just because of the love I have for specific bands. I would say Between the Buried and Me is probably in my top like 3 or 5 bands. And one other thing, your intro song with the coffee like little sections in it, it sounds like On Broken Wings. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that.
No, but
it reminds me of On Broken Wings. And one more thing, when are you guys coming down here again, or are you not sure?
Dude, actually, so it's announcing on Thursday, so when this episode comes out, so I can actually say it.
Perfect.
We're doing 5 days. We're doing like Buffalo, Cleveland, West Virginia. I don't know where in West Virginia yet. And then we're playing the Cinco de Mayo and Elizabeth.
No, it's in New Brunswick.
New Brunswick,
yes,
sorry, yeah, New Brunswick. And
what's
then we
the
end
date on that?
Of January.
Perfect.
And then we end in Vermont. We end in Burlington on the 18th.
All right, cool. Well, then
I was going to tell you, I'll see you there most likely because I know you're right around there.
Yeah.
But let me say a sign off, and then we can make sure the recording is all good. But Mike, very much appreciate you. This has been a great chat. Hopefully part 2 happens sooner than later.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks, man.